So just a few hours ago, we got the news that Persona 4 Remake might release a lot sooner than any of us could have expected. As soon as I read that news, my mind started racing in a lot of different directions. Part of me was excited and hyped, but another part was kind of baffled, surprised, and a little bit conflicted. So I wanted to sit down and vent these thoughts out into the void that is the internet, to stir up a discussion and to see what everyone thinks of this. And if you're interested in more discussions like this, but also reviews on JRPGs, be sure to check out my channel. If you're interested in Persona, there's a very big chance that some of my other content is interesting to you. All of the support is greatly appreciated. But let's just start with the facts so that we're all on the same page here. And that is that a few hours ago, a certain domain named P4R got registered, which obviously stands for Persona 4 Remake. Last time this happened, we got a domain for P3R, aka Persona 3 Remake, and 3 months later we got an announcement in the summer of 2023, and in February of 2024 we got the release of this wonderful game. And this new domain then basically confirms that yes, the Persona 4 Remake is actually a real thing. And to me, that sounds kind of insane. I always had in mind that we would get Persona 3 Reload followed by Persona 6, and then either a Persona 1 and 2 Remaster Collection or this Persona 4 Remake. To me it just made sense, because that way we would have a balance of remakes, remasters, and new content. Persona 6 has also presumably been in the works for quite a while now, so I really thought that that would be the next step for this series. Of course, nothing is confirmed at this point. Persona 6 might still come out before this remake, but you know, if we're going by the Persona 3 order of events, it seems like we might actually get this remake first. I'm definitely not surprised at the fact that they are remaking Persona 4. I'm more surprised at the fact that it's coming already, because obviously they were gonna remake Persona 4. Persona 4 is one of their most popular games, and the Persona 3 remake that came out last year broke so many of Atlus's records. I'm pretty sure it was the fastest Atlus title to reach 1 million sales or something like that. And while, yeah, the entire Persona collection is available on modern platforms now, we have Persona 5 Royal, we have Persona 3 Reload, and you have Persona 4 Golden, all of the games are available on PS4, Xbox, Switch, PC, you name it. Persona 4 is kind of the outlier here, as it's not really a modern game, it's just the remaster of the PS2 or of the Vita version. Persona 4 doesn't really have a modernized version of it, so to say. And there have also been quite a few signs already before this domain registration, because a few months ago, the vocalist behind the Persona 4 OST posted on social media that she is currently recording in a sound studio that Atlus frequently uses. So if we put 2 and 2 together, that is very likely to be for this remake. At the time it also sparked some discussion already, but I'm not a game developer myself, so I wasn't exactly sure what that meant for the state of this project. Originally, I thought that that just meant like, yeah, they're working on this remake, that much is obvious, but I didn't know when it would be coming. But now, if you look at that social media post with the context of this website domain, yeah, this remake is a lot closer than we probably expected at first. And that just sounds insane to me at first, because like, Persona 3 Reload is only 1 year old right now, and taking into account the DLC for that game in episode Aegis, it's insane to think that they're already getting this close to the release of this new remake. At launch, there would presumably only be 2 years between the remake of 3 and 4. And while part of that is genuinely insane, especially with development cycles nowadays being quite long, it's also kind of possible. One, we don't know for how long this game has been in development, and of course, the original Persona 4 was also released within 2 years of the original Persona 3, and that was possible thanks to the fact that Persona 4 simply uses a lot of Persona 3 assets, and they're literally built on the same foundation, which could also be very true for this remake. And on top of that, it's also a remake. It's not like they're gonna have to be coming up with the story of Persona 4, because guess what? That story story has already been written, and outside of a few edits, this remake is going to be probably very faithful, similarly to the Persona 3 one. That one even had some more work going into it with the new social links and the social link episodes and the new scenes and everything, and while we might get a few of those here, I feel like story-wise, Persona 4 Remake is going to be a lot closer to the original, but that's all speculation. I'm getting a bit off track here. What I'm trying to say is that the story of Persona 4 doesn't really need any changes, and it's already been written. And looking at some other Japanese game franchises, like the Trail series for example, they're also no stranger for releasing games at a very rapid pace, thanks to their reusal of assets. And even if we look within Sega, which of course houses Persona, we have RGG Studios, who somehow put out a new Yakuza or Like a Dragon game every year. So looking at all of that, it is quite possible that this Persona 4 remake is indeed coming out next year already. But that then begs the question, why? I mean, that's maybe a dumb question, because we know why. It's gonna sell a lot of copies, and Atlus is gonna make a lot of money. I just meant it in the way of, why remake Persona 4 now? This might not be a remake, but this is Persona 4 Golden, and it's readily available on every single platform right now. I could just buy Persona 4 Golden right now and I would get the definitive Persona 4 experience. What I can't do, however, is buy Persona 1 or any of the Persona 2 games. Or if we go outside of Persona and we look at the other Atlus titles, I can't simply buy the Raido Devil Summoner games. I can't just buy Digital Devil Saga or SMT4. I've also been playing through Devil Survivor Overclocked on the 3DS lately, and that game is fucking awesome. I would genuinely recommend it to literally every single person watching this video, but yet I can't because that game is not available and you can't just go out and buy it. Are any of these games gonna make even close to the amount of money that Persona 4 Remake is gonna make? No, obviously not. It's gonna outsell all of those, possibly even combined. But I feel like preserving these older games and making them available should also be pretty important, and in my opinion, that should be prioritized even over remaking a game that aged incredibly well. But I understand that I'm probably in the minority with that. Remakes are incredibly popular right now and are doing incredibly well. We all know that. I just feel like not every game needs a remake. Like last week I played Metal Gear Solid 3 for the first time. A readily available game right here on my PS5. An absolutely phenomenal game. Became one of my top 10 favorite games of all time even. It still looks beautiful and it plays really well. Yet later this year we are getting a remake. Again, I know that I'm in the minority here, but that's just a thought, I guess. And it's not even that I'm against the idea of a Persona 4 remake, by the way. I might sound very negative right now, but as I said on my intro, part of me is very excited. Do I think that we need this remake right now? No, but it does have potential. Just think about what they could do with the dungeons. Concept-wise, these dungeons are a lot closer to the palaces that we see in Persona 5. So while with Persona 3 they were kind of bound to the Tartarus structure, which is perfect for that game by the way. Tartarus is awesome and I will fight anyone that disagrees. With Persona 4, these dungeons actually have a lot of potential to be fleshed out, to be more unique and individual. And as it currently stands, Persona 4 actually does have my least favorite dungeon gameplay in the series. Yes, I do think that the TV world is worse than even classic Tartarus. Again, I will fight you. But I can't deny that the idea behind the TV world is incredible and it has so much potential. Or just think about how beautiful Inaba could look. Persona 4 has a very unique vibe compared to the other games and I love it for that. Of course, we'll have to wait and see if a remake can nail that vibe and atmosphere, especially the fog elements and especially the OST, but it would still be interesting to see. Now, as a final point, I guess, am I convinced that this Persona 4 remake is gonna be released before Persona 6? No. Do I have any proof or reasoning? No, I don't. We don't know anything about Persona 6. I still just think that it would be crazy that we get a remake of both Persona 3 and 4 before we even get a glimpse at that game. It could also be that originally they did plan to have Persona 6 in between the remake of 3 and 4, but since Persona 3 did so incredibly well, and since they can just use those assets, development might have been going a lot smoother, and in that case, yeah, why not just release Persona 4 first? It also gives them more time to work on Persona 6, and and then it's a win-win situation. We'll have one incredible game while we wait for the other one. I'm still just kind of thinking like, how? Because even with those assets from Persona 3, Inaba isn't Tatsumi Port Island. They're gonna have to make new environments, new dungeons, and of course, new voice acting? That last one isn't a guarantee, but considering that Persona 3 got new voices, I feel like that is a pretty safe bet. And we also know that they're re-recording the OST, just like they did for Reload, so yeah. I don't know. While part of me is very excited, I'm just thinking like, these development resources could have maybe been used somewhere else. But I'm not Atlus. Atlus is gonna go where the money is, and I can't deny that this remake will make them a lot of money. Personally, I'm also a tiny bit scared of the online discourse that this remake will create, but let's just brace ourselves as a community, I guess. Talking about bracing ourselves, by the way, I've already seen a lot of people talk about, oh, they're gonna remake base Persona 4 and all of the golden content is gonna be DLC that's sold separately in a season pass that's linked together with some skins. People are already dooming about that stuff, and I just kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents of that into the mix, I guess, while I'm making this video. I really don't think that's gonna be the case. Persona 4 golden content will be in this remake day one. I don't work at Atlus, so don't take my word for it, but I feel like that's an incredibly safe bet. Because Persona 4 Golden's new content works very differently to the Persona 3 situation. Persona 3 Reload, contrary to popular belief, does have a lot of FES and portable content. It just does. The Elizabeth social link, the part-time jobs, weapon fusions, and like crafting the cards and the skills and all of that, that stuff is FES and portable content that was in Reload day one. In the same way that Persona 4 Golden content will be in Persona 4 Remake day one. The only thing that Persona 3 added as a DLC is Episode Aegis the Answer, and that's just because in Persona 3 FES, Episode Aegis was something separate. It was a separate epilogue story that you could access from the main menu. It wasn't fully integrated into the main game. They're not just gonna remake Persona 4 base, guys. I can't, like, I get it, haha, Atlus, shitty DLCs, that's really funny, Atlus sucks, am I right, guys? Haha, where's FemC? Yes, very funny, but like, that's not gonna be the case here though. And I feel like we all know that. But I think that's about it. This video might have been very rambly, and I might have sounded quite negative here, but these are just my raw thoughts after reading this announcement, I guess, a few hours ago, and I just wanted to get all of that out there. I might have been complaining a lot, and this might be a bit weird coming from the Persona 3 remake guy, but this is just my reaction because I don't really think that Persona 4 needs a remake right now. But yeah, those are just my thoughts right now. Persona 4 might be my least favorite of the modern trilogy, but I still adore that game, and a remake can be very awesome. Because while I am talking like this right now, and while my initial reaction to the reveal might also be pretty conflicted when it happens, in time I'm just gonna accept the situation for what it is. In an ideal world, we would have Persona 6 next, and a port of all of the games that I mentioned and more, but that doesn't mean that I won't be buying this remake day one, and Atlus knows that. I have the Phantom Thieves edition of Persona 5 Royal, I have the Aegis edition of Persona 3 Reload, and I will buy the fucking Truth edition of Persona 4 Rerun, or whatever they decide to call it. I am excited for this remake, I am excited for Persona 6, and I am hopeful that they will port those other games. Atlus might be a weird company, but they never disappoint, they always release bangers, and I am sure that this remake will be worthwhile. Again, despite me possibly sounding quite negative in this video, I am not trying to shit on anyone's parade. If you are excited, that is awesome, I am right there with you. I just think that this was an interesting discussion topic, especially with how prevalent remakes are becoming nowadays. So yeah, be sure to let me know what you all think. I had a pretty long discussion about this with my friends as well, with some of them agreeing wholeheartedly, but others were very passionate about the fact that they disagreed and that they can't wait to play this remake. So opinions are divided out there, and I am just very curious to reading your guys' thoughts, and that's also why I made this video. And if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, definitely leave that comment with your thoughts, and check out my channel while you're at it. Usually I make reviews and first impression videos on JRPGs, but whenever there's a topic that I'm really passionate about, like this one, there's a good chance that I'll make a quick discussion video like I'm doing now. But that's it for me though, thank you so much for watching, I really hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon.